Okay, let's go.
The breaking moment came 3 nights later. I woke to a strange glow under my door. The sound of static seeped through the walls, louder than usual. I crept into his room, heart hammering. He was sitting in the dark, screen casting that sickly light across his face. The game was running, but not on the laptop. On every screen in the room. His monitor, his phone, even a tiny display on his alarm clock. All of them flickered with the same distorted imagery. And in the center of it all was a message. Let him stay. I grabbed his shoulder. Turn it off. He didn't even flinch. His lips were moving, whispering along with the static. I leaned closer, trying to catch the words. It was his name, over and over again, like a prayer. The laptop screen shifted suddenly. The sprite of my brother walked forward, but he wasn't controlling it. His hands lay limp at his sides. The sprite moved anyway, step by jerky step, deeper into a black corridor. I tried to shut the laptop. It wouldn't close. I yanked the power cord. The battery should have died instantly, but the screen only grew brighter. The sprite turned back just once, and for a split second, its face was clear. It was my brother's. After that night, nothing felt safe. Not the screens in the house, not even mirrors. The game didn't need permission anymore. It showed itself when it wanted. Reflections warped, electronics buzzed, shadows lingered. And my brother, he was slipping. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. Sometimes I'd catch him muttering under his breath, words that sounded like dialogue boxes from the game. When I begged him to stop, he just smiled faintly, like I didn't understand. It knows us, he whispered. It always has. The night it truly broke through, everything about our lives tilted sideways. Up until then, I'd convinced myself, barely, that what we were experiencing was digital. Scary, sure. Creepy as hell, definitely. But still just contained. Code. Glitches. A sick prank pulled by some developer with too much free time. But code doesn't reach through walls. It started with a blackout. Not the kind where the power flickers and the house sighs into silence. No, this was sharper, heavier, like the air itself had been cut. One moment I was sitting on my bed, scrolling my phone. The next, everything went dark, even the glow of the screen in my hand. I sat frozen, ears ringing with the sudden absence of sound. Then I heard it, soft at first, like the hum of wires deep underground. The same hum I'd been hearing in my dreams. Low, vibrating, almost like a voice too deep to understand. I staggered to my brother's room. His door was cracked open, spilling a faint gray glow into the hallway. The laptop was open on his desk. No power cord, no outlet. Yet the screen burned brighter than any light bulb. On it, our faceless sprite wandered in empty space. An endless hallway of black walls that flexed like breathing lungs. "Do you see it?" my brother whispered. He was sitting cross-legged in front of the laptop, eyes wide, pupils blown like he hadn't blinked in hours. "What the hell is happening?" I hissed. He didn't look at me. He raised one trembling finger to the screen. "Watch." The sprite paused, mid-step. The pixels around it distorted, stretched, then broke apart into fragments of static. Out of those fragments, shapes emerged. Shapes I recognized. Our hallway, our doors, even the crooked picture frame on the wall. The game was rebuilding the house around us. "No," I whispered. My throat locked, panic rising like bile. "This isn't possible." On screen, the sprite turned and walked toward one of the rendered doors. It looked exactly like mine. The moment it touched the knob, the real door in the hallway creaked. Slowly, painfully, the same motion. I bolted forward and slammed it shut. The echo rattled the whole house. My brother laughed softly, almost dreamily. "It's showing us. It's letting us in." "Letting us in? Are you listening to yourself?" I snapped. My voice cracked. This isn't a game anymore. But the words died, because something whispered my name, not from the screen, from behind me. I spun around, heart slamming against my ribs. The hallway was empty, shadows stretching too far in the gray light. But the voice had been real, low, warbled, like it had traveled through wires before leaking out into the air. That was the first time I realized we weren't alone. Not just me and my brother. Not just us and a cursed piece of software. There was something else, watching, learning, testing the edges of the barrier. Over the next days, reality unraveled in small, sickening increments. Lights flickered even when unplugged. Reflections lagged half a second behind our movements. Objects shifted subtly from where we'd left them. And always, that low hum beneath everything. I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I dreamed of hallways that stretched into nothing, of faceless figures twitching in the corners. Sometimes I'd wake to find my brother already watching me, eyes glazed, murmuring lines of dialogue I'd heard in the game. Once, I woke to him standing at the foot of my bed, whispering, "They're almost here." I tried to fight it. I smashed the laptop, ripped it apart with a hammer until the keys shattered and the screen cracked like a spiderweb. I thought that would end it. That night, the hum grew louder. When I checked his room, the laptop was back. Whole. Perfect. Sitting on the desk as if it had never been touched. He didn't even question it. Just sat back down and picked up where he'd left off. The game no longer needed input. The sprite moved on its own now, pacing corridors that bent in impossible directions. Rooms appeared with details too sharp to ignore. Our kitchen, the neighbor's porch, even the back row of our classroom at school. Once the screen showed me, sitting at my desk, watching from behind my own eyes. For a split second, the sprite turned its head and grinned, and my reflection in the monitor didn't match my expression. That was when I realized the barrier wasn't just thinning. It was tearing. The worst breach came 3 nights later. We were sitting in silence, me trembling on the edge of his bed, him locked in with the screen, when every device in the house lit up at once. Phones, TV, microwave, even the dead tablet shoved in the drawer, all flickering with the same static gray landscape. Sprites filled the screens, faceless but shifting, twitching like they were trying to crawl out. Their dialogue boxes popped one after another. "Let US in. Open the door. You already have." I covered my ears, but it didn't help. The sound wasn't coming from speakers anymore. It was everywhere, rattling in my skull, buzzing in the walls. And then the lights went out again. Not just in the house. Outside, too. Street lamps. Houses across the block. The whole neighborhood swallowed in darkness, except for the glow of the laptop. My brother smiled faintly. "It's ready." I grabbed him by the shoulders. "You're not making sense." "What's ready?" He blinked slowly, almost as if he was waking from a dream. "The world. Their world. Ours. There's no difference anymore." Something moved in the corner of my eye. I turned. In the reflection of the darkened window, I saw them. Figures. Not sprites. Not shadows. Figures. Standing just behind us, faceless, flickering like bad reception. I whipped around. Nothing there. But when I looked back at the window, they were closer. The hum grew into a roar. My chest tightened, breath shallow, vision tunneling. My brother leaned toward the screen, whispering his name over and over, syncing with the figures. And then, blackness. I woke hours later on the floor. My brother was gone. The laptop sat open, blank. But the hum hadn't stopped. It hasn't stopped since. The rain hadn't stopped for 3 days. It drummed against the roof like impatient fingers, a sound that should have been comforting, but instead gnawed at my nerves. By then, I knew something was coming. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw corridors folding into themselves, doorways leading into static. My brother barely left his room. When I finally pushed the door open, he was sitting in front of the laptop. The glow painted his face hollow, his eyes too wide, too empty. I swear the shadows on the walls leaned toward him, as if listening. On the screen was no game, no sprite, no map, no dialogue. Just two words in white, pulsing gently as though alive. Keep. Let go. Beneath them, in smaller letters, choose who remains. I froze. What the hell is this? He didn't answer at first. His hand hovered over the keyboard, trembling but steady in purpose. When he finally spoke, his voice was eerily calm. It won't wait much longer. My skin went cold. What does that mean? He turned, meeting my eyes for the first time in days. His voice cracked into something almost childlike. It wants one of us. The word should have been nonsense. Should have been ignored, dismissed, laughed at. But after everything, the glitches, the voices, the hallucinations that weren't hallucinations, I couldn't laugh. My throat locked. I stepped closer, heart pounding. Then we destroy it. Together. Right now. It doesn't matter, he whispered. I've already decided. He shifted his finger over the arrow keys. The cursor hovered over let go. No. I lunged forward, grabbing his wrist. His skin burned against mine, fever hot. This isn't your decision to make. We fight. That's what we do. You and me. He smiled faintly, but it was the saddest smile I'd ever seen. I'm tired of fighting. The rain hammered harder against the glass. Somewhere deep inside the walls, that familiar hum began again, vibrating through the floorboards. The whole room seemed to breathe with it, as though the house itself was waiting for his choice. I begged. I screamed. I shook him. Don't you dare leave me with this. But my words bounced off him like rain on stone. His eyes stayed locked on the screen. Maybe this way, it'll spare you, he said softly, almost reverently. And before I could stop him, his finger pressed the key. Let go. The screen flickered once, twice, then went utterly black. For a moment, I thought maybe nothing had happened. Then his body slumped sideways, head bowing as if he'd simply fallen asleep. Hey, I shook him, panic detonating in my chest. Wake up, please. But he didn't move. His chest didn't rise. His pulse didn't beat beneath my fingertips. The hum filled the silence until I wanted to tear the walls apart just to make it stop. I screamed until my throat was raw. I smashed the laptop with everything I had, fists, a chair, finally a hammer. Glass shattered, metal bent, wires spilled out like veins. The screen cracked into a spiderweb of black. And yet, the hum remained. When the police came, they gave me words I didn't want. Sudden cardiac arrest. No signs of foul play. Sometimes these things just happen. They took the body. They left me alone in the house with a silence that didn't last long. Because later, my phone buzzed. A notification. One new message. It was from his number. Two words glowed against the darkness of the screen. Thank you. That night, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit still. I replayed every second, searching for what I could have done differently. Could I have dragged him away? Could I have smashed the laptop sooner? Or was it all inevitable? The choice only a formality for something that had already claimed him? I don't have answers. All I know is that he chose. And that's what haunts me the most. Not that he was taken. Not that he died. But that, given the option, he pressed the key. He let go. Now, every time I close my eyes, I see those words again. Keep. Let go. Two simple commands waiting for me, pulsing, patient. And I can't stop wondering. If the game comes back, will it give me the same choice? And if it does, what if I choose wrong? I don't know why I'm still here. Some nights, I wish I'd gone with him. That when the screen went black, my heart had stopped too. But I didn't. And now I'm stuck with the silence, with the hum that never leaves, with a story that keeps replaying inside my head until I want to claw my own ears shut. Maybe telling it is the only way to bleed it out. After they took my brother's body, the house felt wrong. Too big, too empty. People kept showing up with food, with flowers, with words they thought would matter. He's in a better place. You're strong. It wasn't your fault. But every time I nodded, I wanted to scream. Because none of them knew the truth. They didn't hear the way the walls still hummed at night. They didn't see the glow of a laptop that should have been nothing but shattered glass and twisted wires. It kept coming back. I'd find it waiting in places I swore I hadn't left it. The bathroom sink, the hallway floor, once even inside the dryer, humming with warmth as if it had been there for hours. Always perfect, always whole. And then came the messages. From his number. Don't stop. It's your turn. Tell them. I try to block it. Change SIM cards. Switch phones. The messages still came. Sometimes on screens that shouldn't even have service. My old tablet, my dead iPod, even the digital clock in the kitchen flickering letters instead of numbers. Tell them. So here I am. And I need you to understand something. This isn't entertainment. I'm not spinning a campfire story. I'm not here to scare you for cheap thrills. I'm here because every time I keep it bottled inside, the hum gets louder. Every time I try to forget, the screen turns on again, waiting, patient like a door left unlocked. I think the game needs me to tell this. I think that's how it spreads. And if you're still listening, still here, then maybe you've already felt it. Maybe you've noticed that faint static in your earbuds that wasn't there before. Or the way your phone lights up even when no one's calling. Or the fact that you're leaning a little closer to this voice than you meant to. That's how it starts. I've tried to warn people before. Posted pieces of the story online, in anonymous threads, hidden forums. The replies were always the same. At first, creepy dude. Then, weird, my lights flickered while I read this. And finally, silence. Accounts abandoned. Profiles deleted. Sometimes, weeks later, I'll get a single message from one of them. No hello. No context. Just the words, it chose. I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe they got the same prompt my brother did. Maybe they pressed the wrong key. All I know is, once you hear about it, you don't unhear it. The hum follows you. The choice waits for you. And the longer you pretend it isn't there, the closer it gets. You might think you're safe because you're not the one who played. Because you're just an audience, just a passerby. That's what I thought, too. I thought if I ignored it, if I shut it away, I could keep living. But you can't unsee a door once it's been pointed out to you. You can only decide whether to open it. And sooner or later, you'll open it. I should stop here. I should close the laptop, burn the words, pretend this was just another internet ghost story. But I can't, because if I don't tell it, the hum gets louder. And if it gets too loud, I'm afraid it won't just be me who hears it. So I'll leave you with this. Tonight, when you're lying in bed, pay attention to the silence. Really listen. If you hear a faint vibration like wires humming through the walls, don't ignore it. If your phone screen flickers on in the dark, don't pick it up. And if you see those words, keep or let go, don't press anything. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't even blink. Because the moment you decide, the game decides too. And it never lets go. I thought it was over. I deleted every file, burned every trace, even moved out of that house. But last night, when I opened my laptop, my new laptop, the screen was waiting for me. The same gray glow, the same choices, and a new message. Welcome back. Player 2. My brother's name flickered underneath, his words typed in real time. You didn't really think you could leave, did you? I slammed it shut, but the hum hasn't stopped. It's louder now, bleeding through the walls, vibrating in my chest like a second heartbeat. I don't know how long I have before it forces me to play. So if this video ends suddenly, you'll know it found me too.